Okay. So in May, we had one material incident, no accident, and we have been performing with 186 days without accident with lost time with leave. As for our industrial KPIs in this slitting line, we performed above the target with 22.5 tons per hour, very much related to the mix of products with larger cuts. Same result, very similar to the results of the last month, and also with 2.08 coils per hour, and increased TRS to 12% versus the last month. Sorry, it's April, but it's the correct month is May, and the target is 15, but it's still we are improving. As for the blanking line, in the productivity, it was below the target of 6.56. Our target is 8 tons per hour. The main reasons are associated with increase in changeover time. We have a new team operating the machinery. We are also, since April and May, we are starting with the third shift, and we had some small breakdowns, so new people working the machine. So this is perfectly normal. In May and in June, we are facing similar issues, but we believe that in July we'll be operating with 100% of efficiency. In terms of parts per hour, we produced 1,059 versus our target, which is 1,090, and the TRS 42%. So there are some improvement actions that we have been working on related to the lean process, and we are mapping all of these actions and working on them on a daily basis. As for the P&L, so in the month of
Nicole,
okay, sure.
Question about this new team. What was the reason to form this new team? Due to turnover or some usual rotation?
No, actually, we had there was a program launched by Gonvahi, and where they gave opportunity for some of the employees to apply around the world, operating employees, to move to Germany. And not as expats, but as because Germany has a lot of absenteeism problem. So some of our operators applied and they went through the process, and then they were approved, and they started working in their company in April. In the end of April, they left our company and moved to Germany. So in this process, as we already knew that they were doing this, we replaced these operators in time. So we have some overlap of headcount, but we don't have. So they had the time to learn for this process, but the operators that left, they were very good ones, and they were here with us for a long time, for 7 or 8 years, so they knew a lot about the machine. These ones, some of them are new, and we are starting our new shift, so we are facing some difficulties for this. So from one side is very positive because they are being recognized around the world for being very, very good operators, but from our side, also we could not just hold them here. It would not be fair. So they went, and now we are just replacing and promoting new employees, and they're doing a very good job. But unfortunately, the performance dropped a little.
Thank you, Nicole. It is a really bit good program, and that in long-term vision, it will benefit for the MAG to hire new employees.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Also for them is motivating because they know that from their work, they know they could be the next ones to be sent away sometimes. And so for them is a good opportunity. Okay. So for the P&L summary, when we're speaking about the volumes, we performed with 28.2% less than the budget. The reasons are, so speaking of products going to automotive, 22% less, very much related to the numbers of Yoroso and Gestamp. So we know that Gestamp is producing a lot of less because of GM, Gilberto will detail this in the forecast a little bit later. But no, this is affecting us a lot when we look at it on a year-to-date basis. At least 50% of the volume scheduled for auto is the drop is related to Gestamp. And for the tolling auto, also from Nissan, and also for the maximum numbers that we thought that we had forecasted on our budget already to be supplying to them around 300 tons per month. This was already in our budget, but unfortunately the business didn't go through. So we are reporting around 300 tons less each month since March due to this maximum volume. As for the industry program in May, lower than expected also because of prospecting of customers, and our current customer, the program customers that we have, which is Fermator, they did not close the negotiation with the suppliers, so they delayed the negotiation with ArcelorMittal, and the numbers that generally are around 80 tons per month. In this month was only 55. Spot as well is positive, but we are speaking about the selling of old material and other parts, not real development. In tolling, the industry program is following the same trend. In a year-to-date basis, we are positive. In the month of May only, our customer did not pull the amount expected, and AMD is way below the budget. We have been speaking with ArcelorMittal to see if they have some improvement actions to start to take the materials from us, but unfortunately, we do not have positive answer from their side. In terms of gross profit and margin, gross margin, we are positive. We are in 35% in reais per ton expected. This is very much related to the selling of old materials in stock and also some margins that are better from some customers, for example, for Yoroso, than what we had forecasted on our budget, as the weight of this customer is big, one to our in the whole amount of our customers. So we are seeing a positive effect. In terms of operational expenses, also we were able to be a little bit more efficient in 6% of these operational costs, saving 100,000. And our EBITDA was then 2% above what was expected on the budget. So in a year-to-date basis, we are positive. We are in 31%. We have some concerns to the second semester. In this month of June, also the volumes did not reach the amount that we expected, also for some same reasons, Gestamp and Nissan. And but we are still expecting positive results. But unfortunately, the second semester seems to be, I think Gilberto will share, even though we are receiving information of positive from the customers, we are insecure when we are speaking about the results for the second semester.
Nicole, if I can give just a comment here. Yesterday we have a meeting with the ArcelorMittal. We're talking about industry action, big oil line, and one movement we see now is the price will drop in the second semester for industry or hot coil. And it's mean the movement for the second semester will be not good in terms of volume and prices too. And the first movement we see in the automotive was with Gestamp and General Motors. The prices will drop in 0.5% in July, end of July. And we see too a problem about General Motors in terms of production, because we have a unit dedicated to General Motors, is Glorinha. And right now we have one line stopped because Gravataí is still not back to the production for the new car or the facelift. So we have some problems and you're not self-confident for the second semester with General Motors or Gestamp specific. And we see some movement for automotive, and we worry. It's going to be very challenging second semester for us in terms of volume and maybe profitable. Okay.
Also, we received information from Nissan yesterday that they will have a drop of price for for their products as well. Of course, we are going to negotiate now with Yoroso because our stock, Yoroso stock is very high, and we need to supply the whole stock that we have in the current price in order not to have a negative banking effect in the second semester and lose the results from the first semester. So we have some work to do in this second semester. Okay, as for operation,
Nicole,
okay.
I'm sorry. One more thing. We see that the EBITDA is 31% above the budget, and but the net income is 54% above. It means that our interest income was higher than budget.
I have to check this, but probably.
So if you include in this financial income in this statement, it
Yes.
will be more easier to understand.
Yes, we can ask that. We already have this information on the Minerva. I mean, that you receive. We can check in the meantime and see the financial statement, the
Thank you.
financial income. Yes. Okay. So for the operating expenses, in the month of June, we were able to save 100,000, and we have some deviations, but the main ones related to personnel is related to the fact that in the month of May, we paid all the how do we say PPR in English, but is participation of the profits. So this happens annually, and it happens during the month of May. So of course we had a little bit, and when we distribute this, we do it in a yearly basis. So in the month of May, it was a little bit above for direct labor, indirect labor, and SG&A labor. Also, we have, as I was explaining to Kenji-san before, for the people that are in Germany, they are still being accounted in our cost center, but we are sending these costs to Germany. So it's a little bit above on the direct labor, but when we see in the last line of other, we are sending these costs to abroad. So it's less 97,000. In terms of maintenance, we had some occurrences during this month, and the replacement of press conveyor belts above what was expected, and that's why it's above the budget, but we are forecasting to reduce these in the next few months. Power, water, gas, which is utilities, is basically the same. We are studying because we are receiving some information from Nissan because they are increasing our power in the next 2 months, and this could affect our results for the year, but we are still under discussion with them to see if this is going to actually be something that we owe to them or not. So this could be we still don't have this information. And the insurance of assets is above because we have more stock than what we expected, and for softwares and licenses is something that it was forecasted to be done in the second semester, but we are doing in the first semester. So we should eliminate this along the year. But in general, when we are looking on a year-to-date basis, we are saving 1,100,000.
Nicole, thank you for your explanation, but I couldn't understand about this recovery of expatriation because it's a positive figure above the budget, right? So I'm not sure about the assumption that you have considered in the time of the budget.
Yes, because it's a positive because the costs because these people, they are there, but they are still on our how do we say folha?
I know they're still in
Yes.
Brazil. Status
they're
quo.
still in Brazil, yes, for 6 months because they're still trying to adapt. We're seeing if they're going to stay there. But all of these costs related to them, we are sending to Germany. So we are having extra costs when we look at it, the first line of direct labor. But in the last one, which is other, we are sending these costs away. So it's equivalent to 97,000, and we are sending these on a monthly basis to our the plant in Germany. So that's why it's positive on one side because it's over the budget, surpassing the budget value on the direct labor, but we are saving in the other. That's why it's negative in actual.
Other line.
Yes,
In terms of direct cost, right?
yes, yes.
Yeah, understood. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So speaking of the automotive sector in general, May saw a good performance in the automotive sector in Brazil. Production reached 215,000 vehicles, up 28% year on year, although down 5.9% on April. Sales totaled 225,000 units, the best monthly result of the year, up 16% on the same month in 2024 and 8.1% on April. And regarding Nissan's production in May continued to be a little below budget, impacted by the delay in the P13C new kicks SOP, but is making a good recovery for June. In July, we see a drop in volume due to the 15-day collective vacation. But as we see here in the graphic, in below graphic, from August onwards, volume has been growing aggressively, giving us a 23% increase under budget at the end of the year, or 90% in the second half of the year. We don't yet know how the new kicks will be received by the consumer. So we are monitoring Nissan's forecasts and those of the tiers as well. In July, I believe we will have a better view of the new models acceptance. And then Nicole and I intend to talk to Hasegawa-san, the Nissan Brazil's VP, to hear from him his perception of this aggressive growth that they are expecting for the second half of the year. On the other hand, Gestamp has had sudden falls, and until June, they presented a forecast with falling volumes. The recovery we see here from July onwards isn't GM's, as Henrique explained, but it is the new kicks, which is following the growth indicated by Nissan according to this growth here. And yes, we have confirmed
Gilberto.
this collective vacation as well.
Gilberto, so I have one question, okay?
Yes.
So Nissan has in the Nissan forecast line number 4, 25, 5 plus 7 months. So in the second half, the Nissan disclosed some breakdown of the P02H and the P13C new kicks. I want to know the breakdown.
I have, yes, for sure. Do you want for now? I have to search here, but we have.
I can send it on the chat.
Just percentage, for example, October.
50%.
50.
Yes.
It's very rough calculation. Okay, understand.
I'll send it on the chat here.
Okay. Any other question? Okay. And turning to the industry, in May, the construction sector remained resilient despite high interest rates, with the INCC rate rising 0.26% in the month, or 7.17% in 12 months. In the energy sector, we continue to strengthen the renewable metrics with biomass and biogas generation standing out. Agribusiness, on the other hand, continued to recover strongly, 14% rise in corn, 4.5% in cotton, stable soybeans, sugarcane and ethanol crop is projected to grow. And we have seen in the news that almost 300 billion was contracted for rural credit. So I think this scenario could be good in the second semester. For MEG in the non-auto business industry, 468 metric tons were produced, 8.6% up on last month, and sales good also 29% up on last month, mainly positively impacted by Fermator. And for May, the budget expected volume was 845 metric tons, being 44% below. AMD is still below budget, as Nicole commented, with an expected volume of 165 metric tons per month this month of May, resulting in 80% below the budget. Indirect sales also below budget, being 17.5% down. So we are still looking for new business in the industry, and Felix will talk a little bit more about the actions being worked on with the sales team.
Okay, let's talk about our new products development. As you shared in the last steering, we started the project together with Mitsui in order to expand the business in the auto sector. The project was born from the needs to find alternatives to roadblocks you have faced in growing in the industry in the state of Rio de Janeiro, whether due to taxes or the equipment issues. So we structured this project in such a way to build a CRM that will be consolidated at Maggie in the future. In the phase one, as you can see, is totally concluded. We figured out around 1,400 customers Brazil-wide, who became after 186 and already down to 64. This debugging was result of the phase one. Based on Mitsu and New Way database, it took 1 week. Regional selection, it took 2 weeks. And company filtering, you validate one by one through a website, it took 1 week as well. Talking about center region, of course, always aligned with EMJ and case by case to be according to the according you have with them. You are targeted the animal confinement segment that use materials that Maggie is able to produce. As you know, some business you cannot advance it because our equipment is not so suitable to this business we are looking for. In the phase two that's ongoing, you have been focused on Vale do Paraíba area, including cities close to Maggie. For us, it's very strategic this area because despite the area is located in the state of São Paulo, this region where MJ operates, it's among borders, making us more competitive than MG regarding logistics, and you do not depend on taxes incentive. That's why it's very strategic for us. You are conducting detailed deep dive filtering, company by company. It took around 1 more week. We are looking for some results you're gonna reach. Talking about next steps. You add the companies, other that just arrived from Vale do Paraíba to the database. You conduct the detail company by company as well. We are categorizing companies by industry segments, and here you have a very good point of attention. In this stage, we will be able to take more focus to assess financial issues such as credit limits, because so far you are not able to affirm that the customers, database customers, are financial health to operate in our relationship commercial. For future, after conclude this first phase, you are focused on state of Rio de Janeiro, looking for profiles and houses constructions, tubes, count to length, because you believe it's where you can add value to our products. This project is conducting together with Mitsui team, and we hope all this project will be concluded within 2 months more. If you have any questions, you can open space for now, or then Deborah can add some comments that she faced so far.
Okay, thank you, Felix. I've spent a week at MAG. I've been discussing with the Felix and with the Douglas about it. We have been mapping the customers. We had a very long database. In fact, it was around 3,000 companies, but we have been selecting, and some of them were repeated. So it has been like a very detailed work that we are doing together. And we are also planning to map the competitors close to MAG to understand which kind of facilities they have, what we should improve in the MAG's operation, that we could reach those customers. It's quite a long project that we are thinking about. But also, as Mitsui, the main business in our department is the importing business. So we are also aiming to engage one of our colleagues to support MAG on the import operation. Okay, this is also another important issue that we are handling. As you may know, the Brazilian government have been announcing a lot of anti-dumping investigations and quota systems. And as we are involved, so Mitsui is involved on daily basis on import business. We are also exchanging information with MAG and trying to improve the operations. Okay, and maybe if we have any results, we will share in the future.
Thank you, Deborah.
It's okay. Thank you, Gilberto.
Thank you. Okay, going to business opportunities. Let me update these topics. Usiminas GAIT, just-in-time system. The systems tests are still continuing. 70% of the process have been tested so far. And in parallel, the logistics protocol is being negotiated with Usiminas. The forecast start date was June, actually, but due to these pending tests, we have a new forecast to start the GIT process in July. Regarding Nissan full service, there have already been 3 rounds of negotiations. Unfortunately, in May, Nissan changed the buyer. The previous buyer who already had good experience with the process left Nissan and went to another company. As a result, the negotiation process is back to square one. It is a little bit slow. And in recent weeks, meetings have been held to explain the price breakdown for this new buyer. For the full service, we revised the scrap price, and now it is with Nissan purchasing team for evaluation. About Nissan stamping press has made no progress. They are still analyzing this feasibility. And finally, regarding the Stellantis Jeep Avenger, given the difficulties we have in obtaining information, we requested a meeting to be face-to-face at Porto Real plant near here for next week. We are waiting for this confirmation yet.
Gilberto, can I ask a
yes.
few questions? So thank you for the explanation. So Geminas JIT, good to know some progress. So, but the Mag is discussing with Geminas to start JIT for your Luzon custom business. Is it?
Yorozu only the Nissan business.
Nissan part.
Because the
Okay.
GIT is only for what is supplied from Usiminas Resende. But it is around 1,500, almost 2,000 tons,
It's a per
which
month,
is
sorry.
purchased. Pardon?
Per
Sorry,
month.
what,
Yes, per
per
month.
month. So,
Per
Mhm.
month, yes, exactly.
so Ujiminas will keep stock 1,500 or 2,000 metric ton per month for Magi, the
Yes,
Yolozo
yes,
Nissan business, is it?
yes, yes.
Okay, so any reason the Ujiminas Zenji that cannot have stock for Gestamp GM business?
Oh, GM as well. GM as well. 100% of what is being sold from Usiminas to MAG, from Usiminas Resende, it is it is going to be on GIT. But I am saying that it's only what is Usiminas Resende because we are still receiving from Usiminas Ipatinga. So some volumes, for example, for Gestamp Taubaté, it is not associated to the customer. It's just associated from. So we negotiated with them that Gestamp Taubaté will still be supplied by Usiminas Ipatinga. So this volume related to Gestamp Taubaté is still going to be from Usiminas Ipatinga, and then we are not. They are not entering the GIT program.
But for Gestamp business, the full services business, so the Magi, so Ujiminas Ipatinga sell to Ujiminas Zenji, and then doing JIT stock program to Magi. Is it possible, right? Theoretically.
Yes, it is. But in the past, we agreed that Gestamp Taubaté would not be supplied by Usiminas Resende because of the ICMS tax credit. We would be with a higher credit than what we have now. So now we don't have credit of ICMS, only what's the stock. So if we increased the volume of materials being supplied to Usiminas Resende from Usiminas Resende, that we would have to purchase at 22% of ICMS, we moved some of them to Minas. So some of them are still being supplied to us as 12% of ICMS. So we would have to evaluate, maybe in the future it would make sense for us to purchase more material and improve cash flow. But I think that credit, ICMS credit, it is a problem that we had before, and maybe is not advantageous for us. So in the past, this was the calculation. When we started with the subsidiary of Usiminas here, we supported them with some of materials that were coming to be supplied to us, so they could decrease their credit of ICMS, and it would not affect us because we already have debit of ICMS. So we agreed that some of these volumes would come to be supplied by this subsidiary, which is Gestamp Santa Isabel, Paraná, I think all of the other Gestamps, and Yorozu for Nissan. That's it. And for the other ones, some other materials, other customers, they are still being supplied to us from Usiminas Ipatinga, so they would not damage our credit ICMS internally.
Thank you very much explanation, Nicole. I think it's can you please set up separate meetings? So very complicated for
Yes.
me.
Yes,
So
of course.
understood. So the next is Nissan Food Services. So when are you targeting start food services from next year, next fiscal year, or so? What is when is target to start this food services? I'm sorry.
Is that it doesn't depend on us. If it would depend on us, we would say maybe the end of this year, so we would have time. Sorry, after these price changes and after we define the protocol, we would say in the end of this year we already could be supplying to them as full service, but it depends much more on them, on their side.
So what
I
is the
think
pending point of review by Nissan?
they do not agree with the price because they think that the full service is just the cost plus coil cost. And it's not this. The full service is the whole management of the coils, the working capital, the payment terms, everything that it's part of the composition of the price of the full service. It's new to them. It's new to these new buyers. So they understand that in the past we used to supply to them as full service, but now, unfortunately, they change their people and they don't understand what full service is. So we are in this step. They are trying to understand the added value of the full service business and to see if it's worth it. They are doing their calculations. But we are not reducing the price. We have already agreed internally between Gilberto, Felix, and I that we are not decreasing the price because the risk is ours. The risk will be ours. So if they want to really reduce it and then they want to reduce their working capital, improve their cash flow, it's going to be on our terms. So it has to be profitable for us. Otherwise, it's it's not profitable, and then we would have all the risk and look, for example, in this situation where they're decreasing the price, we would have to stay with the stock. So they have to somehow support us in this situation.
So educate. So buyer means some new person in charge, né? In procurement team of.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
It's clear. So the explanation of BD, the price
breakdown.
Price breakdown.
Price breakdown. Yes.
So further education of new person in charge is necessary so far. So the barriers that we have to tackle this kind of education matter firstly. Then, so how do you feel? So it's possibility, Nicole. So it's take long time, or so is it feasible to start the from 2026, for example, with GIT Ujiminas? What do you how do you feel right now? So accuracy.
I think it depends very much on Nissan's objectives because they are different objectives. From when we look at a purchasing side, they are objectifying the price of the reais per ton or per piece or per car that they are going to spend or not. But when we're looking at a financial side, they have a lot of cash flow issues as well because they have a higher stock. They have two almost 3 months of stock here. So of course they're facing cash flow issues. And I think in the future, they will have to move to full service. I think this is going to be their future because this is what we are speaking to them, and they are understanding that it doesn't make any sense for them to buy coils and then buy service. So but I also understand that for them is a very big change, and they would lose control of so many processes that they have internally. And if they look at only on the part price, it's going to be more expensive. They have to look in the whole picture. I think it will move, but I think they will insist a little bit more on reducing prices. And I think now we are not reducing the price, but we have to be careful because we know that they are also trying to quote materials with Galva Sud, and this could be I don't know, this could be a risk for us, not for 100% of the parts, but some of the parts. And they are cheaper. They are much cheaper because they do not produce the kind of product that we produce with the quality that we produce. And we are tied with Usiminas. They would also have to change some of the things to CSN. I don't know. I think it could be a risk, but let's say lower risk of losing the materials and losing for full service to them, like 30%, 70% is to close full service with us.
Okay, good explanation.
It seems like an exact science, but it isn't. Commercial is very, it changes and changes the people, and they change the will and the objectives. It is like this, so we have to go with the currents.
When will you start the price negotiation of tooling for 2026? October or September? I don't know.
I think Gilberto knows better. I think
For-
October.
For pricing in October, starting of October. Yes.
Okay.
We have to present
Thanks.
the first proposal in October, and then until December they have to define.
Okay, thank you very much
Thank
explanation.
you. Thank you. Okay, regarding inventories in May, we managed to reduce volumes in auto to 1.8 months of coverage. And overall, our inventory is averaging 1.7 months of coverage, a reduction of almost 10 million reais. But we need, of course, to reduce it further to recover cash flow. Do you have any comments to add here, Nicole?
No.
Any action, okay?
Gilberto, so as I sent you, so please
Yes.
show us the stock position, the forecast by for your loads and gas stamp. So my question is, so when stock coverage 2.5 months can be removed, reduced, improved to 1.5 or 1.0 as a benchmark of healthy stock level of Maggi? This is my question.
Let me see if I understood you properly. So
So
what we are
2.5, the stock coverage mass is the huge, the higher than the healthy level, right? So my understanding is 1.5 months is benchmark.
Yes, 1.5 is the target. Yes.
Target. So my question is, so last previous months and also always keeping some 2.5 or 2.7 months. So when we can improve the stock position, the coverage position to 1.5 months? My
Yes.
question.
Yes. So let me try to explain what we do every month. So when we receive the demands from the customer and we project this on a forecast for the next 3 or 4 months, which is when we are putting the orders to Usiminas and ArcelorMittal, and we are fixing the orders with them because with the mills we cannot change the orders, so we have to fix with them. We already calculate on the month +3 or month +4 a reduction of coverage. So when we are planning in 2 or 3 months, we are planning to have in 2 or 3 months a reduction of coverage to 0.8 or to 1 month maximum, in order to, since we are having these variations from the customer every month, we assume that from these 200 tons or like 20% less of the forecast, they are taking 20% less of the forecast each month. In 3 months, they will be, if we project our stock in 0.8 or 1 month, we will reach 1.5. So every month, when we are calculating the purchasing of the coils, we are calculating that in 3 months, we will adjust the stock, and when we will have, okay, Henrique, when we will have reduced stock and coverage in 1.5. However, each month the customers change their program, and sometimes it's not they can take, like Yoroso, for example, sometimes they take the only 20% less, but it seems not too much. But the accuracy of item by item, the quality of the demand is bad, is low. So these unbalances are stock. So sometimes we have a lot of material from one item and missing material from another item. So this is a regular process that we have with them. And sometimes what we do for ourselves, which what we did last year many times, was that we would say, I don't think they would take this amount of material. We will take a risk, we will assume the risk internally, and we will reduce the coverage. This is what we used to do. But for now, for this second semester, we are very insecure on doing this because we are speaking with Nissan and they're saying that they're going to take all of the materials. So when we say we're not buying more materials to Yorozu, but we are hearing from Nissan that they're going to produce 12,000 cars. So this means that if we don't have enough material for the 12,000 cars, then we will be hearing Yorozu about all of the materials that we could have pulled or not. And so in this second semester, everything is very unsure from our side. So we are doing the same. We are reducing the coverage in the M+3 or from 90 days on, when with materials that we are receiving in 90 days. Trusting that the customer is actually going to take 100% of the materials and they're producing the cars that they said they are going to. So as it's the launch of the project, because when we see, of course I gave you the explanation about Gestamp, but still when we see the amount of stock, it's we have much more stock of material from Nissan tiers than from Gestamp. This is very clear. And we are very unsure of what is going to happen in the second semester with Nissan. With GM, we are already cutting the orders because we understand that they are not going to recover these materials. This is for Gestamp. But for Nissan, we are very reducing on where we know we can, where we know that there are material available in the market in case we have lack of material, this kind of things, this kind of actions. So in theory, for your question, always in the third month we have the correction of the demand, and then always in the third month we expect to have 1.5 of coverage. In theory, is like that. If the customer doesn't change the demands, and if they are very accurate item by item. Also, we can schedule a separate meeting so we can go over this process so you can understand a little bit better. But in general, this is it.
Yeah, if you said so, it's clear the second half. So I think the first priority to reduce stock, right?
Yes, we always plan to reduce, always. We are planning to reduce. We are purchasing less material, and we are, for the next 2 or 3 months, we are programming less material with the mills.
So, okay, so after getting information, the stock focus for your loads and get stamped from Gilberto and Nicolas, I want to discuss this matter.
Of course,
because Maggie is always facing some difficulty. So the Maggie have to order input to mills at the latest 3 months before the cargo ready, right? On the other hand, demand checking with clients is just one before. Sorry, the demand drop 40%. Then the market tried to negotiate with mills. So please stop production, or can cancel production, or delay payment proof of the please. But especially the Ujiminas don't accept. So Maggie have to purchase the raw material and then pay 10 days or 30 days Ujiminas. But stock is keeping the Maggie have to keep stocking, more than 1 month, 3 months, 4 months. So it's double punch for Maggie. So have to pay the earlier than receiving payments and also keeping stocking.
Yes.
So I want to discuss how to improve this. I understand standard procedure, but I think it's better to discuss how to improve this. The earlier payment from the clients, or a longer payment to the Ujiminas, or I think it's better to discuss, how to improve this matter. So otherwise, so if you start some the full services for Nissan, so or more complicated stock operation management. So in case of JIT, Usiminas can be perfectly workable. The 1% is fine. But if Maggie start full service is more stock programming, accuracy of stock program is very important. So I think it's as I shared. So the percentage of LOIC the Maggie. So one of biggest impact is the working capital. So the days of account receivable, days of the stock inventory days, and days of account payable. So
Of
I
course.
think working capital improvement is very important. So I want to discuss, the how to improve the working capital together.
Yes, I agree. I think we can schedule a separate meeting. We can explain what we already have and what we are already doing, and what we have already tried and we could not accomplish, and see if maybe Mitsui can support, especially with Usiminas or sometimes with the customers. And then I think I agree with you. Has been our focus to reduce working capital, and all of our efforts are on this. So every week we have a meeting about cash flow. Gilberto and I, we approve 100% of the purchasing with the team. So we are already centralizing a process that should be done automatically. We're already doing this because we want to be sure that we are doing the actions to reduce working capital. But I think it's always valid to share with you and explain. Maybe we can have new opportunities.
Okay.
Okay, so speaking of cash flow, so we had forecasted that we would be able to pay 5 million right now in the end of June. And as you can see, the position is positive in the end of June. We are closing the month with 21 million. So in theory, this would still be possible. But in July, we are seeing a high number of increase of purchasing, which has much to do with the increase with the customers, has much to do as well with the decrease of the sales in this month of June. So in the first provision, we were expecting to have higher cash receipts for July, but unfortunately, due to the cancellation of Gestamp, especially, we reduced this. So decrease of the cash receipts, increase of the raw materials for the next months, and we are in a tight situation for July, August, and September. Of course, August is still to be decided because we have been able to postpone some of the materials of Gestamp, but our materials that are arriving in July and arriving in August, and also we are expecting to have a better view of the GIT for these next 2 or 3 months. And this would reduce also the working capital and the supply of raw materials purchase. Okay, Gilberto?
It's very tough, no?
It's very tough. Yes. Yes. When we look at it,
I cannot understand yet. So the supply of raw materials in July, August, September, October. So the same level of the purchase of raw materials. So because turn over the inventory, so the reflected to the sales volume, revenue, right? So
yes,
the cash receipt is decreasing, not enough to recover the raw materials, but they have to keep purchasing the stock material. So
yes, because we
I
purchase
cannot
before we sell.
Mm,
So between the day that we purchase until the day that we sell this material and receive from the customer, especially, can you say you can say if you want. So especially when we are speaking of Nissan items, which is 60 days. So it's 60 days until we pay Usiminas. But also we have 2 months of coverage. So when we are paying to Usiminas, we are producing to sell to the tiers, to Nissan tiers. And then it's another 60 days to receive. So in between we receive the material until we receive we purchase the material until we receive the money from the suppliers is for months. So there is this how do you say descasamento? It's from
Imbalance.
Unbalance, yes, unbalance between the receiving and the payment and the receiving. But we can schedule to speak about this also with Kenji-san, because Kenji-san was here in the beginning of this process, and he was the one who implemented this weekly meeting for the cash flow, because also they were going through, at the time they were going through a much tougher situation with a much higher bank loan position, and we can share because the situation hasn't changed that much, and but we have to have in mind the situation, the hard situations that we have, like the Gestamp purchasing, which is 10 days, and then the Nissan purchasing, which is 60 days. The variation of the demands, so we have this already, we have this information clear, how much does each customer variate on an item to item basis, on a monthly basis, from when we order the materials to the supplier to when they actually take the materials each month. We already have this information. I think it would be interesting to show to you how the mechanics work on the cash flow and all the purchasing and receipts of the materials. And what are the actions that we do every week on while we are speaking with Usiminas and also to the customers to decrease these or to reduce this impact? Okay. So as we had some decrease of the stocks in the past month, we had a decrease of tax credit position because most of this tax credit position is related to the stocks. And except for the IPI, which we are not compensating and it is increasing. But we are sorry, we are only compensating with the taxes that we can, so it's not too much. And we are still waiting for our RS to confirm to us the monetization of some parts and also the special regime for the future for the materials coming from Usiminas Resende.
Nicole, I think this reduction of PIS/COFINS, I think it's not due to reduction of the stock, because the reduction of stock was almost just 1 million. So effect of this reduction on PIS/COFINS is almost 100,000 reais. So I think there is other.
Yes, it's the
reason.
compensation.
Sure.
Yes, we are
Compensation,
compensating.
right?
Yes, yes. Okay. And in terms of forex long and short position, we have now opened in 1.8 million US dollars, and we estimate 10 million reais, and we have 28 million approved. Just one point is that we noticed for this year an increase of imported materials. So this is also complicated for our cash flow and also complicated for our stock, because the lead time is very long and the prices are very high, especially for Nippon steel material. And so this is this is just general information. We are having monthly payments for imported material. Okay.
Okay. Finally, we have read and reported this case by email regarding the wrong material being delivered to Yoroso, but I brought here summarized. What actually happened was that the customer ordered ordered S355MC steel, and we delivered the grade DD13, although both are hot rolled steel coil. The problem is that DD13 steel is less resistant than S355MC, resulting in possible cracks in the parts of euros. The problem, what was impacted in the customer? At Nissan, we delivered 125 sets were delivered in 125, and with this 29 cars were assembled. At YAB Yoroso, 692 parts were produced. 216 became sets, and a further of 480 parts remained in the intermediate process. Okay, all target parts have been detected, fortunately. But I think the worst case scenario would be that it would cause a recall if distributed to dealers and consumers, and negatively impacting Nissan's reputation, and in the worst case, causing accidents to users of these cars using this wrong material. The reason behind this problem was some human errors during our process, such as the failure to enter the steel data manually when receiving the coil, failure to check the invoice against the customer purchase order, and a failure to check the new sheet data before our production. Okay, the wrong steel was detected during the production at Yoroso on May 28th, and how we managed this situation, respecting the technical deadlines, containment and countermeasures plans were presented for both Yoroso and Nissan. The action plan was accepted by them, and it is already being implemented at MEG. In a meeting with Yoroso, where Kobayashi also was attending, Yoroso said that the estimated cost is 300,000 reais, but so far we haven't received any official letter or word from Yoroso. Nissan, the same situation. They have not yet presented the expenses caused at their plant. And according to Yoroso, Nissan will take a little bit more time to how can I say, to separate the pieces with this material there, because they are having a lot of production in new model P13C, but our team is also working together Nissan in disassemble these pieces. Happened this week at Nissan. Yes, for that's all that we have from this case. Fortunately, we don't have this problem anymore. For this period, we have not having this problem. So I think it
Gilberto, so
was
thank you very
solved.
much for explanation.
Mhm.
So I think YAB also have to explain the present the countermeasure
Mhm.
prevention measurement to Nissan Brazil based
Yes.
on the MAG's presentation.
Mhm.
So I'll review quickly. So the countermeasures proposal to YAB
Mhm.
Mago has already sent.
Mm.
I think it's a little bit complicated for understanding those guys.
Yes,
Then Murakami-san
they
and also
accepted
Oikawa-san
Kobayashi-san.
understood clearly.
Mhm. And they also did this explanation to Nissan, and Nissan also accepted their countermeasures.
So based on the Mago's presentation.
Yes.
Okay, so next question is the AMG has already completed audit. So can you please briefly explain, so what is the result of audit?
I don't receive the official result yet, Kobayashi-san.
Okay.
So when I receive, I can do this separately. Yes.
Okay,
We don't
understood.
have this study yet.
Okay,
But they ended this work in last week, so I think in next days we will have this report.
okay. Last question is any reason for YAB still holding the reimbursement of this value or no?
No, but I guess that they are waiting for Nissan's reimbursement portion as well.
Okay, so Nissan the request compensation firstly to YAB. So the YAB waiting for the compensation amount from Nissan side, and then or they want to combine the amount of compensation to show the Magi. Is it maybe?
Yes, maybe.
Okay, thanks. So it's the kind of it's very the big serious defect, the wrong material. So I would like to Mitsui side would like to ask the review carefully the internal process. The not only this kind of process and also the purchase and the sales internal approval process that our internal audit teams required and pointing out. Is I think this good opportunity to review carefully the reinforce internal process, the using the skills and also supporting from the AMG the supervising point of view, because we are now trying to launch full services for Nissan in the future. So if the wrong material happened, it's very very big problem. So very big impact. So please carefully review the internal process and also improve the checking process inside of Magi, please.
Yes,
Yes, for sure.
we recognize it. We are doing that. We also shared this with AMG because the process is exactly the same with them. And in 20 years of working, and also as in 10 years of working with in this process, this has never happened in any of the companies. So, but this was a very red alert to us, and we are spreading this to all the companies in Brazil because we understand that this process was not even assessed with risk, the entry process. And now we understand, and now we are doing everything we can to reduce the risk on also on this process, changing the processes internally.
Understood. So if any update from your side, compensation and issues, so please share with the board members, please.
Yeah. So the board of directors is scheduled to July 29. I heard that
28, right? 28.
28. 28, sorry.
Okay.
On Monday.
Monday, yes, 28. Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. I just put it wrong,
No
but
problem.
it's 28. And I heard that Suzue-san would not be able to join, but in this meeting, as we presented in the last board meeting, we will not be uh, sh sharing anything to be approved. So it's just a report board meeting. And we would like to share, of course, some of the assumptions for the next budget, but unfortunately, the strategic meeting will happen in August, so we will probably share in the first week of September, and the assumptions of the market, so we can start constructing the budget for the next year. Okay, but it's just a
Okay.
report meeting, so it's no big deal. Suzui-san cannot participate on this one.
Okay. So let me consider the Mitsu side. So maybe Noriko-san will participate on behalf of Suzuki-san. Yes, and also appreciate the share in advance of the board agenda, firstly, before the
Okay.
board material. So, and let's
Okay.
discuss.
Okay.
Yeah, lastly, so anything, so from Mag side? That's fine.
Yes.
Also, lastly, as Deborah explained briefly about some, import tax increase 25% from, I believe, 10% maybe, or 10 or 10.
10.8%, 10.8 to 25, but Maggie is charging 12%, so the impact will be a little bit lower than the real import
See.
tax rate.
So that's kind of the announcement was effective officially. So when Mag have to pay 25% import tax
Yes.
of imported material from the upcoming, the arriving here in Brazil. So I think I recommend to the Mag team to prepare. So verify firstly position, incoming, the under production at the mill side, the under transportation. And then, so the second point is the preparation of notification letter to basically the only Euros, right? So POSCO and Nissan. Sorry, POSCO and Nippon Steel.
Nissan as well.
Nissan.
Oh, Nissan as well.
Mm-hmm.
No, only Euros.
I think no, but
We
we have
supply to Yoroso, but the price is negotiated with the automaker. Yes.
So I think it's
We sent this official letter yesterday, okay, Kobayashi-san?
okay. So please
To
share
them.
with us.
and
Mhm.
also with Gestamp. We have one material imported with Gestamp.
Yes.
All right.
From
So I
Bauer
appreciate
Steel.
to share such kind of letter. So now Maggie's story is negotiate the transfer import tax cost to tier one or OEM. Ne?
Mhm.
I think Maggie is now negotiating, the recoursing the past import tax increase 25% within quarter, or only order for upcoming, the arriving in Brazil. Which one? So because Deborah shared with me, so the impact of the import tax increase,
Mhm.
not only newly arrived here, you calculated, past imported material. So which is the story? So your story. You will negotiate to get the
Yes, of
the
course.
return back to
Yes.
how to say, really?
Reimbursement.
But you have already imported, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So we have to put it on the price. For the future, I think it's going to be okay. There will be some discussion, but they will have to accept. And for the past, we are calculating because there are some materials that we already purchased and already supplied, and we are going to see the impact on the past, and then we will share also with the customer that we will issue complementary invoices with the adjustment of price.
In the past, so before the system of quota, have you already issued some notification letter to customer?
No, also we have not received any notification letter from our suppliers, from
So our supplier don't need, so because
no,
you are
but
importer.
yes, I am speaking of the despachante.
Forwarder. Yes.
Yes, the
Thank you.
forwarder,
Mhm.
the
For
custom.
what? Yes, but what are just agents? So basically, importer have to handle. So, but anyway, so you will the
Also, we are
negotiate
adjusting internally
both of the
to,
story, ne?
yes, we
Mhm.
are adjusting internally because we didn't have any process to check if what's the before what they are asking, what they are charging, if it's the same that we have. We didn't have this process before. We only have it after. So after is not enough. So we are changing internally to check all this information from the forwarder before.
Okay.
The
So
broker.
let's
the
try.
broker.
Let's try. So at least let's try to get the acceptance of import tax cost for upcoming material, at least.
Yes, of course. No, this we have to get it. Otherwise, we will
I'm
not
not
supply.
sure. I'm not sure stock income
No, but this
stock
is
material.
I understand, but we have to be tough in this because this is a government's rule and situation. It's not our demand. It's not that I want to increase 20%, 12% on my margin. They have to accept it. Otherwise, we will not supply the materials. So for this case, we have
sure.
to be very tough.
Yeah, sure. So, but let's try. But so
Yes, of course.
I would like to, the basically at that time of quota was effective. So I think MAG should have issued notification
Of
letter,
course. Mhm.
right? So let's try to keep this
Anticipate.
mind. Yes.
No, I agree. I agree. But the fact that we did not do it in the past doesn't mean that we cannot charge. We have to charge them right now
Mhm.
because otherwise, this changed with material in transit. So it's not that it didn't have any rule like the materials that are going to depart from this date, they will have no. So the material was in transit, government changed. We have to accept. We have to pass it.
Okay. So please follow up and also update, please.
Yes, of course. We are assessing this information, and today we have a meeting. I think Melissa scheduled a meeting today, our commercial, and we will already have the assessment.
Yeah. Thanks, Deborah. So it's
Yes.
familiar
Yes,
with
thank
such
you,
kind
Deborah.
of activity. So Noriko-san is also facing difficulty always, due to the Trump. So we have knowledge internally. So because basically our main activity is exporting and importing. So if you have any questions, please let us know. And also we are welcome to supporting you. So how to resolve.
Of course, of course. Thank you very much for your support. I think what we are facing right now is not just related to the import and export, but our government is changing taxes all the time, and this is affecting us, our credit, and everything. So each day the reality is different. Sometimes it's IOF, sometimes it's the Selic, and I think we are having a governmental critical situation.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kobayashi-san. I will send you some proposals for us to speak of the cash flow and purchasing process for maybe Friday or maybe next week because Gilberto will be on vacation next week. If you have no agenda, and then I can do it myself with you. And just to clarify a little bit more about the process, I'll send you some proposals. Okay.
Yep. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
all. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.